film begins by showing a main base of a bad group that's been selling people's organs for many years, mostly from kids. At that time, police officers are getting ready to catch Songpa, the big boss of this group. Not long after, Jin Ming is one of these officers, and he spots a little kid from far away, even though he's just using an old bottle to look. Jin Ming knows that Songpa will be there in about 5 minutes, but he can't take his eyes off this kid who seems to be in trouble. As Songpa steps out of his car, Jin Ming faces a tough choice. Should he try to catch Songpa or help the kid? Then he decides to help the kid. But this choice causes a big shootout between the police and the bad guys. The good news is the little kid gets saved, but the bad news is Songpa gets away. 10 years later, the little boy is now a grown-up named Jin Tae. Jin Ming, who saved him back then, now teaches him and another young sniper, Xiao Mi. Jin Tae and Xiao Mi are always trying to outdo each other in shooting skills, but between the two, Xiao Mi is a bit better. Jin Ming often tells Jin Tae that if their shooting games were real battles, Jin Tae might not make it out alive. For Jin Ming, a sniper's main job is to stay alive, even more than shooting well. One night, Xiao Mi had too much to drink. Soon after, Jin Ming told Jin Tae to help her get home safely. But Xiao Mi, being the competitive person she is, didn't want any help from Jin Tae, her main rival. The next day, everyone was back at training, but only Jin Tae and Xiao Mi graduated and became security members. Jin Ming was really happy for them. Soon after, there was a plan to catch Songpa. At that time, Xiao Mi was sad because she wasn't picked for this big job, but Jin Tae was chosen to lead the team. However, Captain Wong wasn't too hopeful. He tried to catch Songpa 7 times before, but every time something went wrong. He thought someone on his team was secretly helping Songpa. Just like before, this plan also went wrong. Many team members got hurt or killed, so Jin Ming told Jin Tae to get out of there. It looked like Choi was the one helping Songpa because he was messing with the team's communications. Jin Tae, being brave or maybe a bit crazy, decided to keep going even when things looked bad. This made Jin Ming nervous, so he asked Xiao Mi to get a new team ready to help him. But Captain Wong said no. He wanted to find out who the traitor was first. Then the communications started working again, and everyone could see Jin Tae fighting the bad guys all by himself, and he was winning. He even showed everyone a video of one of his fights, but Songpa wasn't there. Shortly after, Captain Wong told Jin Tae to search everywhere in that place. Jin Tae found a computer that had details about the people working with the bad guy, Songpa. What shocked Jin Tae was seeing Jin Ming's name on that list. Jin Ming tried to say he wasn't a bad guy, but Captain Wong told Xiao Mi to arrest him. Then, from far away, Choi tried to shoot Jin Ming, but Xiao Mi was fast and shot at Choi, which started a big gunfight inside their main building. When Jin Tae got there, he saw Captain Wong hurt badly. Captain Wong said that Jin Ming was working for the bad guys and that Xiao Mi was too. Just then, Jin Ming tried to surprise attack Jin Tae, but Jin Tae was quick and they started fighting. At that time, Jin Ming told Jin Tae to drop his weapon. But then, Xiao Mi joined in and they all started shooting and fighting again. In the middle of all this, Jin Ming got shot. To make things worse, Songpa showed up and told his men to blow up the whole building with Jin Tae, Jin Ming, and Xiao Mi still inside. 8 years after the big explosion, Jin Tae, who made it out alive, looks like a mess and is often drunk. One day, he gets in trouble because his son took money from others. People beat Jin Tae up, thinking he was involved. He even paid back the money his son took. Soon after, Jin Tae takes the kid to meet his mom. Turns out she's Min, a woman who sells her body for money. When she hears about the stolen money, she offers herself as payment, but Jin Tae says no. Instead, he decides the kid will work for him. Hearing that, the kid curious about his pay, so he asks Jin Tae. But Jin Tae just tells him to get some sleep because they have a busy day ahead. The next morning, they go out to find old stuff they can fix and sell. While they're out, the kid, who's just called Boy, notices a sign offering good money for blood donations. Back at their place, Boy is getting used to working and Jin Tae reminds him he still needs to study. Soon after, Min comes by to see her son and is amazed to see him studying. This wasn't something he did at her house. Boy then asks his mom to take off her glasses. He's never seen her without them and wonders why. When she does, it's clear that she's got a black eye from one of her clients. Shortly after, Boy decided to get some money from Jin Tae to help cover his mom's costs for a couple of days. After getting the money, Min brought some food to Jin Tae as a way to say thanks. You see, Jin Tae had taught Boy how to read and write. While they were together, Min shared a secret that Boy wasn't really her son. He was her nephew. Turns out, in the past, Boy's real mom, Min's sister, got into some bad stuff with drugs and made some really bad choices because she couldn't pay what she owed. After that, Min did whatever jobs she could, even ones she didn't like, to pay off her sister's debts and look after Boy. While they were talking, Boy was busy studying, but then he suddenly stopped and dropped his pencil. After that, Min finished up her chat about Boy and said her goodbyes before heading home. On the other hand, Boy was searching for his dropped pencil when he stumbled upon a hidden box. Inside, he found a bunch of household tools. He started wondering, was Jin Tae a killer or maybe a cop? Hearing that, Jin Tae didn't say anything. He just told Boy to head to bed. In that moment, Jin Tae seemed to have some heady feelings about Jin Ming. He kept having dreams about him. To deal with these memories, he often drank to find some peace. Surprise, surprise, Jin Ming was still around. In fact, he'd taken over the bad business from Songpa. On the other hand, Xiao Mai was still with Jin Ming, always by his side. She and another guy named Long were given a task to eliminate a business rival for Jin Ming. After they were done, Xiao Mai told Jin Ming she found someone with the same blood type as him. This was big news because, remember, Jin Ming had a weak heart after Jin Tae shot him 8 years back. Soon after, the scene takes us 8 years back. At that time, Dr. Kim was the one who saved Jin Ming from the brink of death. Through all this, Xiao Mai found out Jin Ming's true colors, that he was on Songpa's side. Although she wanted to end Jin Ming, memories of him saving her as a kid held her back. Instead, she went after Songpa and his crew, getting hurt in the process. But then, Long steps in. He takes out Songpa and his whole gang. Dr. Kim then lets Xiao Mi in on a secret that Jin Ming has a heart condition and needs a new one every few years. Plus, his blood type, B or a negative, is pretty rare. Back to Jin Tae, he woke up and noticed Boy was missing from his bed. Soon enough, Boy showed up with lots of food, drinks, and cash. Jin Tae, thinking Boy had stolen again, lost his temper and told Boy to leave for good. But feeling sorry, Jin Tae went out looking for Boy. He did find him, but not in a good situation. Soon after, Long grabbed Boy. There, Jin Tae tried to save him, but couldn't because Long had a gun. Then Jin Tae remembered that blood donation sign that caught Boy's attention earlier. Shortly after, Jin Tae quickly went to see if Boy had actually donated blood for some cash. Turns out, Boy did donate that morning. Worried, Jin Tae pressed a doctor for details on where human organs might be taken by shady organizations. The doc spilled the beans and gave an address. After hearing that, Jin Tae headed to that location, which was disguised as a restaurant. Pretending to be a worker there, he sneaked around, especially checking the morgue, hoping not to find Boy. He had a close call in an elevator with another worker, but managed to handle it. But trouble wasn't far behind. The doctor Jin Tae had earlier confronted ratted him out to another doc at the restaurant. Before he knew it, Dr. Kim, the guy from the restaurant, tried to knock Jin Tae out with some drug. Jin Tae tried to resist even though he felt dizzy. To his shock, he recognized this doc. It was the same Dr. Kim who had tried to harm him when he was just a kid. Furious, Jin Tae demanded to know Boy's whereabouts. Before anyone could react, Dr. Kim was suddenly shot dead. Right after, his phone buzzed, showing a call from Xiao Mai. This is when Jin Tae realized Xiao Mai was involved in these shady dealings. To distract her, Jin Tae used a clever trick with a spoon, making her lose focus. It gave him a short window to dodge the bullets she fired at him. Soon after, Xiao Mai took another shot at Jin Tae, but he managed to escape again. However, he soon found himself trapped in a room surrounded by Long's crew. A thrilling fight ensued, with Jin Tae and Long going head-to-head. Amidst the chaos, Jin Tae managed to snatch a necklace from Long and made a quick exit. Feeling woozy from the drug Dr. Kim had given him, Jin Tae stumbled around. Thankfully, he bumped into Min, who immediately helped him. The next morning, concerned, Min asked about Boy's whereabouts. Jin Tae sadly told her that Boy was taken by a group involved in illegal organ trading. Hearing that, Min was distraught, tears streaming down her face, as she hit Jin Tae, fearing for Boy's life. There, Jin Tae tried to reassure her, saying he believed Boy was still alive. Going into action mode, Jin Tae shaved all his body hair, reminiscent of his days as a security guard. He also dug up a weapon he hidden nearly a decade ago. As part of his plan to draw Long out, he had Min pawn the necklace he'd taken from Long. The pawn shop attendant, who was one of Long's guys, quickly tipped off Long about this. Shortly after, Long confronted Min, demanding to know where Jin Tae was. Out of the blue, a bullet struck Long's hand. It was a long-range shot from Jin Tae. Then, a gunfight ensued, but Jin Tae managed to capture Long. Long then took Jin Tae to where the kids were usually held, but Boy wasn't there. At that time, Jin Tae got one of the guys at that place to hack into the shady organization's bank accounts. He then decided to finish off Long, seeing no more use for him. When Xiao Mai called Long's phone, Jin Tae answered. He proposed a trade which traded Boy for the hacked account info. With few options, Xiao Mi agreed, setting up a midnight rendezvous at a building in East City. As night fell, Xiao Mai set herself up on a building rooftop, ready to take her shot. But to her surprise, instead of Jin Tae showing up, it was Min. In frustration, Xiao Mai fired a warning shot, demanding Jin Tae's appearance. Boy, brave as ever, threatened to hurt himself if Xiao Mai aimed at his mom. Xiao Mai was in a tight spot because Jin Ming really needed Boy's heart and blood. As they tried to get away, they were surrounded by Xiao Mi's crew. But Jin Tae came to the rescue, taking down the bad guys one by one. While Min and Boy made a run for it, Jin Tae kept a protective eye on them from afar. In a sneaky move, Xiao Mai used Min as a shield during their battle. Yet Jin Tae didn't hold back. With a precise shot, he took down Xiao Mai. He got shot too, but was saved by his bulletproof gear. Xiao Mai wasn't so lucky and didn't make it. Just when it seemed like the dust had settled, Jin Ming showed up out of nowhere, taking Min's life. Boy was once again captured. Jin Tae was shocked to discover Jin Ming was not only alive, but also knee-deep in shady dealings. As Jin Ming was getting ready for a procedure, gunshots echoed, with bullets hitting the protective glass around him. So, Jin Ming, who used to train Jin Tae and Xiao Mi, told his crew to go after Jin Tae. But even though Jin Tae was going up against his old trainer's team, he outclassed them all. The battle made its way inside a building, where Jin Tae quickly took care of Jin Ming's guys. After 8 long years, it was time for Jin Tae to come face to face with his old teacher. But surprisingly, Jin Tae dropped all his weapons. He wasn't there to fight, he just wanted to save Boy. Even when Jin Ming shot him twice, Jin Tae didn't strike back. In that moment, Jin Ming was curious about why Jin Tae was so protective of Boy, just as Jin Tae wondered why Jin Ming had saved him in the past. After a moment of respect towards Jin Ming, Jin Tae walked away. Sadly, Jin Ming didn't survive a heart surgery soon after. The following day, as Jin Tae was taking Boy to school, Boy sweetly called Jin Tae Daddy for the very first time. And the film ends. The moral lesson from this film is if you want to be a good sniper, make sure to also excel in family bonding and emotional connections. After all, protecting loved ones is more important than perfect aim.